I always thought my life had a steady, familiar rhythm, not dull, just comfortably predictable. After 25 years of marriage, you settle into certain routines. You know each other's habits, moods, and quirks. For Sophia and me, it was the little things: a shared morning coffee, a quick call during lunch, dinner together, and a glass of wine after the evening news. It wasn't extravagant, but it was ours, a small ritual we built over decades. I thought it worked. I really did. With both our kids off at college, the house felt quieter, sometimes eerily so, but we managed to fill the silence. We leaned on old jokes, familiar touches, the same stories we told 100 times. I believed she knew me better than anyone. Maybe I took that for granted. One Thursday evening, we were on the couch, the TV playing in the background but muted. A scene as ordinary as any other. She was holding the remote, her gaze fixed on the screen, but I noticed her grip was a bit too tight. Out of nowhere, she turned to me and said, "Can I ask you something without you freaking out?" I chuckled, assuming it was one of her odd, random questions. That's usually how she started when something strange was on her mind. "Of course," I said, curious and unworried. She hesitated, letting out a small, nervous laugh. "I mean, just hear me out, okay?" I nodded, not sensing the shift in the air. "Go ahead." She took a deep breath, her fingers curling around the remote a bit tighter. "What would you think about opening our marriage?" I blinked, the words not quite registering at first. I even laughed, expecting her to crack a smile, but her expression remained tense, expectant. I felt a strange chill creep up my spine. "Wait, what do you mean by that?" Sophia shifted to face me fully, her arms crossing defensively, like a hall pass, or maybe something we try together. Nothing serious, just explore a little. That word explore sounded like a slow, tightening knot around my chest. "You're serious?" I asked, struggling to keep my voice steady. "I'm not saying we have to do it," she added quickly. "Just talk about it." My heart was pounding, but I forced myself to stay calm. "Where is this coming from?" She looked away for a moment, her jaw tightening. "We've been together a long time, Bruce. I love you, you know I do, but maybe we just gotten too used to each other." I felt my jaw clench. "You mean you're bored?" "That's not what I said." She shot back, her tone defensive, but the implication was there, hanging between us. "I just want to feel something different. Not with someone else instead of you. With you. I want to experience this together." I couldn't meet her eyes. I stared at the muted television, the colors flickering across the screen, without meaning. That night, I lay awake beside her, my eyes locked on the ceiling. Her breathing steady and peaceful like she hadn't just shattered our world. Her words echoed in my mind. "Open our marriage." The phrase circling like a song you can't shake, each repetition tightening my chest. I gave a few days, hoping she'd bring up again, maybe even laugh it off as a momentary lapse or a bad idea sparked by too much wine. But she didn't. She acted like the conversation never happened, like she hadn't just tossed a live grenade into our living room. By Sunday, I couldn't hold it in anymore. We were in the kitchen loading the dishwasher, and I shut the door a bit too hard. She glanced up, eyebrows raised. "You okay?" "No," I said bluntly. She leaned against the counter, crossing her arms again, a stance I come to associate with distance. "It's still bothering you." "Of course it is." I snapped, not bothering to mask my frustration. "You asked if we could sleep with other people. Sophia, that's not something you just drop and move on from." She exhaled, clearly bracing for this. "It was just an idea, Bruce. We don't have to turn it into a huge thing." "Not a huge thing?" I stepped closer, my voice growing sharper. "You suggested bringing other people into our marriage after 25 years. That's not a passing thought, Sophia. That's an earthquake." Her eyes narrowed. "You're being dramatic." "No." I shot back, trying to keep my temper in check. "I'm being honest. You want me to be okay with watching you be with someone else. Or worse, pretending I'm into it." "That's not what I said," she countered, her voice growing colder. "You said we could experience it together. What does that even mean?" She hesitated, her gaze flicking to the side before she finally muttered, "People do this, Bruce. It's not the end of the world. For me, it is." For a moment, we just stared at each other, the gap between us suddenly feeling wider than it had in decades. That was the moment I realized something inside her had changed. Or maybe it had been changing for a while, and I just hadn't noticed. In the days that followed, I started seeing the signs. The phone buzzing more often, the new perfume, the extra effort in her appearance just to run errands, gym visits that didn't leave her sweaty, and that smile, the private one, like she had a secret. I didn't want to snoop, but one night she fell asleep on the couch, her laptop open beside her. The screensaver hadn't kicked in yet. I glanced down and froze. Private forums, anonymous profiles, messages, event invites. The words on the screen hit me like a punch to the gut. Partner swaps, group events, explicit messages. Then I saw it. See you Saturday night. Can't wait to meet in person. That Saturday night, she came downstairs in a red dress I hadn't seen in years. Hair perfect, makeup flawless. She was glowing. Big night. I managed to ask, my voice tight. She smiled, adjusting her earrings. "Yeah, actually there's a party tonight. Something a little different." I felt my heart sink. "What kind of party?" She met my eyes unblinking. "A swingers party." I felt my world crack, but I managed to whisper, "If you walk out that door tonight, we're done. No coming back." She paused, studied my face, then walked past me without another word. At 1:42 a.m., I heard the garage door creak open, the soft jingle of her keys hitting the bowl. She had come home, but I didn't ask where she'd been. I didn't want to know. The silence had returned, but this time it felt permanent. The fridge door opened and closed, the clink of a water bottle. The soft glass sat down on the counter, then silence. She walked past the living room like she'd just come back from a routine errand, not a betrayal. "Still up?" she asked casually like nothing was wrong. I didn't answer. She lingered for a moment, expecting a response. And when I gave her nothing, she sighed, a quiet, irritated sound, as if I were the unreasonable one. Then she disappeared down the hallway toward our bedroom. I sat there, my body still, but my mind racing, unable to sleep. Eventually, I reached for my phone, not looking for anything specific, just something to distract my hands. Out of habit, I opened the photo gallery. Pictures of us, the kids when they were small, birthdays, beach days, that dinner in Rome, moments frozen in time, back when things fell whole. Then I saw it, a video file, unnamed, just a timestamp. 2 hours ago, my pulse quickened. The phone had synced to the cloud automatically. She'd forgotten it was still linked to mine. The thumbnail alone was enough to tighten my chest. A dimly lit hotel room, red ambient light, a wine bottle partially in view, and her arm unmistakable with the bracelet I gave her on our 15th anniversary. I tapped play. Her face filled the screen close to the camera, smiling and laughing, her voice slightly slurred, flirtatious. "Film this for me," she said to someone behind the phone. "I want to remember it." She stepped back, revealing more. 3 shirtless men surrounding her, touching her, their hands on her body like she was a prize. And she welcomed it. She kissed one, then another, whispered something to a third that made him grin and pull her closer. She looked radiant, vibrant, more alive than I'd seen her in years. And not once did she seem like someone who had a life waiting at home. I stopped the video before it finished. I couldn't bear to see more. I sat in the dim room, the screen black in my hand, my heart heavier than it had ever been. She hadn't just made a mistake. She hadn't just cheated. She recorded herself doing it proudly, gleefully, and unknowingly handed me the evidence as if it were a vacation memory. That wasn't an accident. That was a choice. The next morning, I emerged from the guest room, my eyes dry, my mind numb. I hadn't slept, just stared at the ceiling, replaying the video in my head. She was in the kitchen, humming as she poured coffee, moving like someone who had just come back from a spa weekend, not a betrayal. When she saw me, she smiled, sliding a mug across the counter. "Morning," she said. "I figured we could take a drive later, maybe lunch by the lake." I said nothing, just looked at her. The smile on her face faltered. "What?" she asked, her voice quieter now, uncertain. I sat down, placed my phone on the table. "Sit," I said. She hesitated, then obeyed. For a moment, something flickered in her eyes. Recognition, realization, the cloud, the sync, the video, but was too late. I opened the file, played it full screen, let it speak for me. She didn't say a word as it played. Just watched herself laughing, undressing, being touched, being wanted. Her voice and body given freely to strangers like none of it mattered, like none of US did. When it ended, I locked the screen and looked at her. She sat frozen, color draining from her face. "I didn't know it would upload," she whispered. "I don't care," I said. "You still went. You still did it. And you smiled while you did." She reached for my hand, tears welling up. I pulled back. "I made a mistake," she said, voice cracking. "I just wanted something new. I didn't mean to hurt you." "No," I said, standing. "You didn't make a mistake. You made a plan." She stood too, blocking my path, desperate. "Please don't do this. We have a family, a life. You can't throw it all away over one night." I looked past her. "You threw it away when you left this house." I walked past her, my mind clear for the first time in years. That night, I drove without a destination. Miles of road slipping beneath the tires, the dark skies stretching above. My phone buzzed with messages, texts, voicemails, all from her. Apologies, please. Empty promises. The one that stuck, it didn't mean anything. But I had seen the video. I had seen her smile. The way she touched them like it did mean something. Something more than me, more than us. Around 3 a.m., I parked at the edge of a quiet park we used to take the kids to. I watched the street lights sway in a breeze, then picked up my phone and sent her one final message. "There's nothing left to talk about. I'll be filing in the morning." Then I blocked her number. It felt like coming up for air after drowning for years. The next day, I walked into my lawyer's office, flash drive in hand. That video said everything I couldn't. I didn't want revenge. I just wanted peace. I canceled our credit cards, changed the locks, packed belongings, and set them outside. When she came home and saw it, she didn't say a word, just picked up what she could and left. Months passed. The house got quieter. Not empty, just peaceful. One day I caught myself laughing. A real honest laugh. My neighbor Dean stopped me while I was taking out the trash. "Hey, Bruce." I should have said something earlier. I used to see Sophia leaving a lot, getting picked up by a guy in a black car. Same guy a couple times a week. I just nodded. "You didn't do anything wrong." And just like that, something inside me settled. It wasn't just that night at the hotel. She had been living a separate life for a long time. That party was just when she stopped pretending. That evening, I sat on the porch watching the sun dip low over the neighborhood. It used to be our porch. We used to plan dreams here. Now it was just me, and for the first time in a long while, it didn't feel lonely.